G'day, guys. How are we all going? Um, Last week of the regular season this week, and as we all know, very little has been decided. As it stands right now, the New Orleans Saints, Spirit, and the Providence Steamrollers, Kenneth, are the only two to be eliminated from playoff contention. Um, and neither division, neither division neither division has been won. um, at this point last year, I think Spirited won the active division about 2 weeks ago, and God, I can't remember now. Hang on, I will look it up. Where are we? So, standings. The no, Jake might not have won it the week before. No, he went into the last week with a game lead. So that division definitely wasn't decided. But the guts of the playoff teams were even decided by this point last year. Heading into week 14 last year, there was 4 teams already well and truly in the playoffs. Right now, I can only say there is 2 absolutely certain teams in the playoffs. Congratulations to both Robbie and Paddy. Both absolutely guaranteed a spot in the big dance and a shot at the Titan Bowl. Everyone else, good luck this week. It's going to be crazy. All right. I'm going to go over some playoffs. Just basically some sort of playoff rundown anyway for the last week. Once again, as I've already mentioned, Spirit and Kenneth, unfortunately, you've both been knocked out of contention for the Titan Bowl. But luckily for you both, there is definitely a chance that you can turn around and win the Titanic Bowl. It's already been done by one team that finished last in the whole league, and you've both been far more competitive during the season than that team was last year. So Jared literally just got hot in the last little bit of the season and managed to get his name on the trophy. So Spirit has very close to tied up the clown suit and last place, but there is still a chance that he could overtake Kenneth. He would have to win both games this week and then surpass 121.35 point deficit this week between him and Kenneth. So you got to win big, and have Kenneth not do a particularly good score. So it's a chance, but like a lot of other things in this league this week, it's a chance. All right. David's team, Buffalo All-Americans, come into this week 12-14. Has to win 2 games. He cannot win. I don't think. I don't think he can get into the. No, he can't. No, 100%. He can't get in without winning 2 games this week. And even then, with 2 wins, there's a chance that it's not enough anyway. He's currently. So he faces off against the Bulldogs this week, which is also a very important game for them. David would also need to erase points deficits somewhere, I think, to get in. And this is why I think he's a really tough chance of making the playoffs. Currently 77.2 points behind the Bears, who hold a 1-game lead over him. The Stapletons, he's 142.36 points behind, also 1 game behind. The Bulldogs, he's 316.76 points behind. That's over. That isn't even a chance. So, they're also a game behind. So the only way I think he passes the Bulldogs, he'd have to beat the Bulldogs this week with 2 wins and have the Bulldogs get no wins. That'd be the only way he could leapfrog the Bulldogs this week. So, and the Dolphins, who already are on the 14 wins, he's got 156.72 point deficit to make up there. So, it's minuscule chance. And that's basically what I'm saying here. David has an extremely small chance of making the playoffs. I actually think it's a smaller chance this year than it was of him actually winning the league last year when we were coming into the playoffs. So he's up against it. He needs a lot of things to go right. Basically, he nearly want the Bears, Stapletons, and Bulldogs all to lose. He's got control of the Bulldogs matchup. The other two he's got no control of, obviously. So, but yeah, even 1 win for those teams, and even if it's just good enough to be a top 5 scorer on the week, that's probably nearly enough to knock David out of the playoffs there. So, we are talking about for him, he's battling it out for 3 spots. He's not in range of Joey, and even if he was, he wouldn't have enough points to get past Joey anyway. So, there really is, the three spots between the All-Americans, Bears, Stapletons, Bulldogs, and Dolphins. So, that's the bottom end part of it. And that's the only spot that David can possibly occupy. Next team, the Chicago Bears, come in 13-13. A really tough matchup this week. I don't know how the matchup actually looks. I haven't gone through and looked at that yet. I might get a bit of an indication on the previews when I go through that. But yeah, against the Eagles, who are in contention to win the division and get that first round bye. They're currently the highest scoring team in the league, by about roughly 64 points over the Packers. Actually, it will tell me, where is it? Points behind, there it is, 63.97. There you go. Yeah. So the Eagles have got plenty to play for. Everyone wants that bye week. It just pushes a little bit deeper into the playoffs without having to worry about winning. So, for Matty, I think he has to win this week to be a chance. 13 wins isn't going to get into this playoffs the way it's gone. And there's definitely a world that exists where Matt gets 2 wins this week and doesn't make the playoffs. Obviously, your chances of making it once you get to 15 wins are pretty good, but there is point differentials that aren't in his favour that will make it tougher even on the 15 wins. So, it obviously depending how other matchups go. So currently he's got a 77.20 point advantage over the All-Americans. And he's 65.16 points in arrears of the Stapletons, 239.56 points behind the Bulldogs, which is, you're not turning that. And 79.52 points behind the Dolphins, which is still, it's a significant score, but it can definitely get overturned in 1 week in this league. Matty would have to have a huge week. And Akron Pros, this is one of the, so you say there's a chance. 178.23 points behind the pros. Obviously, Matt would have to have a huge score. Joey would have to have a absolute shocker. And I don't know how much the huge score can happen for Matt. Like I say, I've got no idea what the bye weeks look like, but I know Joey's team is pressed for players this week. He has quite a few guys on buys, and obviously that can make a significant difference to your point scoring abilities. Anyway, so yeah, Matty. Safest way in for him's win 2 games and just hope everything else pans out. Anything other than that, it's dicey. Just depends on where those 5 bonus wins go for the week. All right, the Staten Island Stapletons coming in at 13-13. They probably landed the most favourable, one of the more favourable matchups in the last week. Recently eliminated Steamrollers, but we all know fantasy football, anything can and will happen. I say it has to win at least one game to make the playoffs. But there is also a scenario if this team wins 2 games, they could still miss the playoffs, but obviously many things would have to there'd have to be a fair few things go wrong for that to happen. In a decent point scoring position at the moment, close to well ahead of the All-Americans, a decent gap on the Bears, and really close to the Dolphins. So what are we looking at? Over the All-Americans, we got a 142.36 point advantage. Over the Bears, a 65.16 point advantage. Bulldogs, we're 174.4 points behind. The Dolphins were 14.36 behind. And against the Pros, we're 113.07 points behind. Have to win. It's pretty simple. If you don't win, then you're pretty much putting Lady Luck in control of everything that happens. So, I mean, there's enough Lady Luck in control of fantasy football as there is. So, a little bit more is definitely not going to, not desirable. The Bulldogs next. Canton Bulldogs, Jakey's team, 13-13. They face the All-Americans this week, and it's pretty simple for Jake. If he wins a game, I still like his chances of making the playoffs. Win 2 games, and it's over, all over, and all of a sudden he's in for a chance at the bye week and winning the division, because he does hold a solid points advantage over Joey's pros. So, pretty simple equation for Jake this week. Just go and win 2 games, mate, and you're in the playoffs. It's that simple. Jared, Miami Dolphins, 14-12. So you've got that extra win, but and that's definitely in your favour. You match up against the Pros this week. It's all going to come down to bye weeks between you guys here. I think you're both struggling a bit on this. Having that 14 wins definitely helps Jared's chances this week, but he's absolutely no way in the world is he locked and loaded for a playoff spot. Could easily, if he has a bad week, doesn't win a game, he can easily get leapfrogged by 3 teams very easily. Points wise, he's got a solid lead over the Bears. 79.5. Oh, actually, hang on. I'll touch on the All-American side. Right, if David wins, Joe and Jared loses all games, there is a very minuscule chance David could leapfrog the Dolphins, but 156.72 is the deficit we're talking about there. So it would take a really good score and a really crappy one to go with it. So he does hold a 79.52 point advantage over the Bears. Only 14.36 points over the Stapletons. The Bulldogs, he's 160.04 points behind, and the Pros, he's 98.71 points behind. Yeah, it's so hard. This would be the most brutal last week of a fantasy season I think I've ever seen, and the 2 wins probably has something to do with that. It definitely seems to keep things alive deeper and longer. But yeah, it's pretty rough. Last team I'm going to talk about, the Akron Pros, 15-11. Just win a game this week and you're in the playoffs. Win a game and you win the division. Win a game and you win the division and get a bye week. It's really that simple. No need for a double win. Doesn't need to score a shit ton of points. Just 1.01 of a point more than Jared, and it'll be enough to get in the playoffs. The only scenario where Joey misses the playoffs, I believe, and it would be redonkulous to see it happen. He would need to see, I believe, the only way Joey misses the playoffs, he would have to get no wins. The Stapletons would have to outscore him by 113.07. The Bulldogs would have and get 2 wins, obviously. But if they've done that, you'd have to think they've probably got the 2 wins. The Bulldogs would have to get 2 wins, and they have a 61.33 point advantage over him. And the Dolphins get 2 wins, or 1 win and outscore him by 98.71 points. But if the Dolphins were to get 2 wins against him, things start to get a bit scary for Akron. That's the only way it happens, though. Joe, freaking hell. Joey's team's in pretty good shape to make the playoffs. It would need a series of events to go badly. Not quite as big a series of events to go badly for him to miss as what it would need to go in David's favour to make the playoffs. David needs a absolute miracle, in my opinion. It's crazy, actually, the way this week matches up. And anyway, I'll switch my camera around. Where are we? Maybe if I had my glasses on, I'd have a chance of seeing this. No, that's not what I want. Probably that one there. All right. So, that was last year's. I'll quickly touch on last week's games. All right. So, suppose the game of the week from last week was the Canton Bulldogs defeating the Providence Steamrollers in a pretty tight game. There was only just basically 10 points in it. So, I think Grant Delpit was going for Kenneth in the late game and got injured late-ish. Was probably enough to seal the deal. I don't know if he was ever going to close the gap, but when he's not on the field, it's impossible, isn't it? So, wasn't enough for Jake to get 2 wins, but it was enough to get an all-important single victory. So, I actually thought this was probably the game of the week, not blowing my own horn or anything. Staten Island Stapleton's losing to the Chicago Bears. It ended up a pretty decisive victory in the end, but yeah, it was close. I think Brandon Jones got hurt somewhere between halftime and somewhere early third quarter, I think, and losing him basically eliminated any chance. But still a good enough week for myself to get a bonus point win, which has been relatively good and common lately. And the Bears, Matty grabbing two very important wins. One win probably would have made things a bit difficult for him this week. So instead of landing on the 12 wins, he managed to grab the 13 wins and well and truly keep himself in the playoff hunt. For myself, managed to get myself to 13 wins as well. So, next game was the Buffalo All-Americans up against the Akron Pros. David had a stack of guys going in the Monday night game and pulled away with a pretty easy win in the end. Joey was fighting it out, trying to get a bonus win, but just fell up a bit short. Nick Benito couldn't quite pull it off for him in the last game. He did put up a pretty damn good score though, so certainly elevated him in there with a chance at the bonus win at that point. But yeah, it's been a bit of a slide for Joey in the last few weeks, so he's hoping to try and turn it around this week. A good win to Davo, two wins, bonus win. And keeping himself alive for the playoffs, even if it is a very, very slight chance. Miami Dolphins with a pretty comprehensive win over the New Orleans Saints. Yeah, just more of the same for Spirit, unfortunately. Actually, nearly every team in the league got up pretty close to 400 points this week. I think Spirit was probably the lowest scoring team. Yep, lowest scoring team on the week, and yeah, still got pretty damn close to 400 points. Yeah, pretty easy win for Jared. Definitely gave him a more comfortable feeling heading into the last week with 14 wins. But yeah, as I've already touched on, definitely not home and hosed as yet. Good win, Jared. And the battle for the active division conference title. The Packers up against the Eagles, and the Eagles ran out very comprehensive winners. The 60 points by Jaquan McMillan on Monday Night Football certainly helped that happen. It was a huge game for him. So, I mean, he had some other guys go off as well, but that 60 points from McMillan, you take that off, she's a bloody close game in the end. So, yeah, you'll take them how they come. I'm sure Robbie's more than pumped and both teams, as I've already mentioned, into the Titan Bowl playoffs. They're the only two teams that 100% are there and can't miss. So, Paddy's been on a bit of a slide lately, and probably fingers crossed, hoping that it will come good in the back in these last couple of games. So, all right, this week's games. Hang on. Fantasy previews. Here we go. Now, game of the week. I don't think I agree with that. Let me have a look. Actually, I believe that I will nominate this one as the game of the week. Buffalo All-Americans against the Canton Bulldogs. So, according to Fantasy Sharks, they actually have they got Dave's team rated with a pretty decent score this week. This will be very interesting actually. The must win for both teams. Their all-time record, I've got it here somewhere. I actually had it up on the screen. So currently it's a 1-3 record. So the Buffalo All-Americans have 1 win in the series so far, and 3 wins to the Canton Bulldogs. However, the 1 win was in the playoffs last season with everything on the line. This is going to be very interesting to see how this plays out. Jake's team seems to have fired, or it hasn't, pretty much every week. And he'll be hoping for everything to go right this week. I see Dave's run out 1 quarterback this week with Jordan Love. I don't think he has another option. So it is Jordan Love. Jordan Love also carried him to a Titan Bowl championship last year. So proven, it's been a proven commodity in the past, and who knows this week. Looks like both teams have submitted lineups by the look of this. So Jake's probably got one of the highest rated scores for the week, and no reason to think he won't win, and I think he will win, and believe that will be the end of the All-American season. Just how I think it's going to go down personally. So Staten Island Stapleton's up against the Providence Steamrollers. Where are we at? I think it's 1 and 2 all time between myself and Kenneth. Where are we? Steamrollers. Yeah, it's 1 and 2. Won the previous meeting this season. Hoping for a second win against the Steamrollers this week. Can't say I'm confident in my lineup this week. I do have some buys I'm navigating, as I'm sure most of the rest of the league is too. Fantasy Sharks have me as a slight favourite, not a huge favourite. We'll see how this one goes. I think it'll be a tight game, unlike everyone else's opinion. I've yet to blow too many teams out of the water in most matchups, so most weeks and it's the same for everyone. So most weeks it's coming down to the wire to see who can pull off the win. I think I can win, and yeah, we'll see on the bonus wins. I'm not going to sit there and try and predict that shit this week. So, yeah. I'm going to tip myself to hold on for a win and give myself a shot at the playoffs at least. So the Akron Pros up against the Miami Dolphins. Yeah, we got some pretty rough looking matchups here. I'm assuming it doesn't. Yeah, Jared hasn't put a lineup in at all, so that's a little bit deceiving. Right now, Fantasy Sharks, sorry. Fantasy Sharks would have Joey is a decent favourite. It's going to be a very interesting week. He's still rolling out a pretty good offense there. And defensively, he still looks fine. So it's just a matter of the guys coming out and actually aiming up and scoring. That's pretty much what it's going to come down to. And for I'm not sure what Jared's depth looks like here. I'm going to tip Joey in this matchup. I still think he's probably got enough firepower there to possibly hold out Jared in a close matchup. And that will, if that happens, it will make things very interesting for these playoff spots. Last game, Philadelphia Eagles and the Chicago Bears. Oh, actually, I didn't touch on the previous. What is their record? Hang on. Miami Dolphins and the Akron Pros. Currently, it is 1-0 to the Dolphins. This was when Jared started his playoff run last season. It wasn't in the playoffs. It was the last week of the regular season, but that was when his team started to ramp up. So, see how it goes. Bears and Eagles, last game. No, not the last game. Sorry. Bears and Eagles. So, all time between the Bears and the Eagles. What are we looking at here? Did that go? Yep, must be. So it'll be 3-1 lifetime. Bears hold the advantage in this matchup. The one loss in week 1 last season. It's a long time ago. A lot of water's gone under the bridge in that time. Robbie's team probably has the best starting lineup in the league. If he dodges injuries and has navigated bye weeks, which has actually happened for him, he's ended up having a great season, and just everything's worked out greatly for him so far. If he wins this and somehow managed to grab a bonus win, he probably ties up the bye week. It's not 100% because the point differential could be overdone, but yeah, if he gets a bonus win, I've got to imagine he probably takes the bye. For Matty, he is 100%. 100%, I think, needs the win, and 2 to be a really good chance to be a playoff team. I think if a bunch of teams end up on 14 wins, someone's missing on 14 wins, in my opinion. So, we'll see. There is a legitimate shot that 14 wins isn't even enough for the playoffs. There is a chance that 15 is the cutoff. If it's 14 wins, it could be absolute chaos on going into the Monday night game. I'm going to tip. I'm going to tip Robbie. I think, like I've already said, I think he's got the best starting lineup in the league. And like I said, he's managed to stay healthy for the season and navigated his way through the boys. So, and I think it's going to put some pressure on Matt. He'll be happy that I haven't tipped him because I couldn't pick my arsehole apparently. So, yeah. Good luck, guys. Last game, Packers and Saints, which it hasn't got that much riding on it. The bye week, obviously, for Paddy needs 2 wins and outscore Robbie, or 2 wins and Robbie not to get 2 wins. And for Spirit, he's looking at trying to dodge the clown suit, and he's definitely got the record against Paddy to make that happen. currently with a 4-0 record against the Packers, which would have been 2 regular season matchups last year, a playoff game, and the earlier regular season match this week in week 1. So, this season, sorry. Yeah, it's definitely. Oh man, imagine that. Imagine. I'll tell you what. I can't wait to see what Kenneth comes up with a clown suit if it actually comes around to this. Yeah, it could happen. So you say there's a chance. There it is again. I'll say it again. So you say there's a chance. Who knows, man? This week is gonna be absolutely crazy. I wish everyone good luck, man. Just fuck it. Just can we all just get the chance for our players to finish the games and actually contribute this week? Nothing worse than having guys miss half a game or most of a game. Anyway, once again, guys, good luck. Thanks for watching if you have. Can't wait for the regular season to be over personally. So, yeah, it's been fun. Thanks, guys.